We're building a more complex component in this module that touches on more aspects of component building. Since users of the app must be able to select benefits for employees, we're working on the integration of a new component called the Benefit Selector from this clip onwards. To show the new component, users can press the thumbs up button on an employee's row on the Employee Overview page. When the button is pressed, all benefits are shown. In front of each row is a checkbox. When a benefit is selected, the start date of the benefit is automatically filled and the end date is set a year from now. But the end date can also be changed and reverted. Some benefits are premium benefits. When these are selected, the employee row has to be highlighted. There's also a Save button in the component that has to be disabled until a checkbox is changed, and it will be disabled again when Save is pressed. Now, before we start building this beauty, let me first talk some more on how the application is structured, so that we can easily integrate the new component in the existing architecture. In the solution there are 4 projects. We talked about the first one already, that's the Razor class library. The second is a project called Client, and this is the actual Blazor WebAssembly application. The Server project is the API for the Client project. It contains 2 repositories, one for the employee data and one for the benefit data, and that we will need in the new component. The repositories are using in-memory data. They are used in the Program.cs class, where I use the minimal API feature of ASP.NET Core to create endpoints for every needed operation. And finally, there's a shared assembly that contains the data transfer objects that are communicated between server and client, and vice versa. One thing that may seem strange is that the client application seems to get launched when the server is started. And that's because the server project references the client project, which of course has a www root folder with the index.html file, and that's the bootstrapper for the Blazor application. By referencing the project, this file is now available to the server. And in Program.cs it tells the server to fall back to that file when none of the other URLs listed above are matched with the URL in the browser. So in essence, that means that the Blazor client application is served by the server application, and the server application in addition also contains endpoints for the API. Obviously, we're focusing on the client project in this course, so let's take another look at its structure. The Pages folder not only contains the index component where the profile picture is rendered. There's also an employee overview that is shown when the corresponding URL is hit. One of the goals of this module is to understand how this one works. As soon as we finish the new Benefit Selector component, you will have that knowledge, because that works using the same principle and more. There's a link to Employee Overview in the nav menu component in the shared folder. It uses the built-in navlink component to generate the link. Using navlink is the same thing as using an A tag with the href attribute, but navlink will apply the navlink.active CSS class on the link text if the URL in the browser address bar matches the link. The nav menu is rendered by the layout page, and you've probably already spotted it when I ran the application earlier. And what else? Well, there is an API services folder with classes that do what you would expect. They contain methods that call the server part of the application, the API, to do operations with data, like getting all employees. They are using an HTTP client for that, configured in the Program.cs class. The URL it uses is the URL of the host environment, which is the URL the server runs on. Remember, the application is served by the server project. Okay, now let's start building.